There is a certain kind of prayer that never makes it into Christmas cards. It doesn't sound like "thank you for blessings" or "peace on earth." It sounds like this: "Please, just give us one more day. One more day without the phone ringing with bad news. One more day with their hand still warm in yours. One more day where they are still breathing in the next room. One more day before the machines are turned off, before the morphine, before the goodbye that feels too big to fit into a human throat. When someone you love is close to the edge, because of illness, age, addiction, depression, or simple fragile biology, time stops being an abstract number and becomes something you beg for like oxygen. You look at the clock and think, if we can just have tonight, if we can just have Christmas, if we can just have tomorrow. You bargain with reality. After Christmas, let it happen after Christmas, after their birthday, after this treatment, after this visit, this trip, this one last plan. You know somewhere deep down that life does not negotiate. Death isn't a receptionist you can reschedule with. But it doesn't stop your heart from trying, because how do you accept that an entire universe, the universe that exists between you and them, might end on a random Tuesday afternoon that you didn't prepare for? The mind can't swallow that, so it looks for something it understands. Days, hours, mornings, nights. It says, let me have just one more. Let me say everything I haven't said yet. Let me sit in the same room one more time, even if we don't talk. At Christmas, this pleading becomes almost unbearable. The season itself is built around dates, countdowns, only X days to go. People open advent calendars, light candles week by week, mark the approach of a celebration. You too are counting days, but not to a holiday. You are counting the days you might still have with them. Will they make it to Christmas? Will this be their last one? Can they hold on until the family arrives? Can we hold on until I'm ready? You won't be. No one ever is. You find yourself watching them in strange, intense detail. The way they hold a mug, the way their chest rises and falls, the way their eyes still find your face in a room, the exact sound of their voice when they say your name. You try to record it all in some invisible inner camera, desperate to capture every frame. Because what if tomorrow the picture disappears? You might sit by a hospital bed under harsh fluorescent lights, while somewhere far away, fairy lights twinkle in windows. You might hear Christmas songs playing softly from a TV in the corridor, while a machine next to you beeps out your loved one's heart rhythm. You look at their face and think, not yet. Please, not yet. One more sunrise, one more stupid joke, one more day to smell your skin, to adjust your pillow, to tell you again that you matter. Psychology calls it anticipatory grief, the mourning that starts before the final moment. But anticipatory grief sounds clinical, neat. What it feels like inside is shredded, raw. It feels like this. You wake up and your first thought is, are they still here? You fall asleep with your phone next to your ear, volume up, in case something changes. You flinch every time a nurse walks in, every time a doctor clears their throat, every time someone says your name. In that careful tone, that means bad news is coming. You start measuring time not in hours, but in still. They are still here. They are still breathing. They are still fighting. They are still opening their eyes when you speak. When you beg for one more day, you're not asking for a miracle cure. Not really. You stopped secretly expecting that the moment you saw the scans, or the charts, or the way their bodies started to change. You're asking for delay, for an extension on the lease, for a little more of what you already know you are going to lose. And underneath that, whether you admit it or not, you're asking for something else. Time to become the version of yourself you think you need to be when they go. Time to be braver, stronger, more accepting, more ready. Time to say the perfect goodbye, to find the perfect words, to be the perfect witness to their last days. But here is one of the cruelest truths. No matter how many one more days you get, you will not feel ready. If they died tomorrow, you would say, not yet. If they died in 6 months, you would say, not yet. even if they lived years longer than expected. The moment of separation would still feel too soon, because to the part of you that loves them, any time that is not forever feels like a theft. At Christmas, when everything is about promises, see you next year, same time, same place, you know that some of those promises will be broken by reality. You look at them across the table or across the hospital bed and think, this might be the last time we say Merry Christmas to each other. So you hold their hand a little tighter. You memorize the way their fingers curl around yours. You say things you might have postponed before because the calendar on the wall is no longer an infinite stretch, but a short, fragile line. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I remember when. You talk about memories that make them smile, if they can still smile. Or you talk to them even if they can't answer, because every word feels like a thread you're weaving between you and them, refusing to let go until you absolutely have to. And when you're not with them, when you have to step out, to eat, to shower, to breathe, you might feel panicked. What if something happens while I'm gone? What if they die and I'm not there? What if this one more day happens without me because I dared to look away? So you hover at the edge of your own life, unable to fully leave the bedside, unable to fully stay, exhausted and wired. People tell you to rest. You want to scream, how? How do I rest when every minute feels like it could be the last? In the secrecy of your own mind, there may be another fear you don't talk about. If I beg for one more day and I get it, will that make it hurt less when the day after comes? You already know the answer. It won't. There is no version of this where you sigh with relief and say, okay, now I'm ready for you to go. So why do we beg anyway? Because love, faced with the cliff edge of death, doesn't know what else to do. It reaches toward time the way a drowning person reaches toward air. Even knowing that all the days in the world would not be enough, your heart still believes that tomorrow is better than never again. And sometimes you do get that one more day. The doctor said hours, and somehow they make it to morning. Everyone thought they would be gone by Christmas, and somehow they're there at the table, fragile but present, wrapping paper in their lap. The scan looked terrible. The results were grim, and somehow they get a few more months. You breathe out, shaking, and say thank you to whatever you believe in, or to nothing at all. Those extra days can feel like stolen light. You sit in them carefully, like someone carrying a fragile glass through a crowded room. You might find yourself thinking, don't laugh too loud, don't jinx it, don't relax, because if you relax, the universe will notice and take them. As if your vigilance is the price you pay for every extra minute. But the painful paradox is this. The more you cling to the extra days, the less you actually live them. You spend them half in gratitude, half in panic, and in neither place fully. You're afraid to sleep in case you miss something, afraid to leave in case it ends, afraid to lean into joy in case it gets ripped away. So what can you do instead? You can't stop wanting one more day. That desire is not a flaw. It is love refusing to accept that love has limits. But you can ask yourself a hard question. If I actually get the one more day I'm begging for, how do I want to inhabit it? Do you want to spend it bargaining with a clock? Or do you want to spend it inside the moments themselves? That might look like this. Instead of watching the monitor, you watch their face. Instead of counting hours, you count the times you make them smile. Instead of rehearsing the future without them, you tell them about the past you share. Instead of asking life for another tomorrow, you say, I am here fully today. You won't do this perfectly. Fear will pull you out again and again. You will find yourself staring at the time, staring at their chest, waiting for it to rise and fall, panicking every time it pauses. When you notice that, you can gently bring yourself back. I am here. They are here. This is the day I begged for. I will not abandon it to a future that hasn't arrived yet. And when you don't get the extra day, when the last one comes without warning, or too soon, or on a date that now feels poisoned, You will probably do what every grieving heart does. Blame yourself. I should have been there. I should have asked harder. I should have begged earlier. I should have made that last day more meaningful, more peaceful, more everything. But the truth is heartbreaking and simple. You did not control how many days they had. You did not control which day would be the last. You were a human being standing in front of forces bigger than you, trying to make sense, trying to hold on, trying to love as best you could under impossible conditions. If someone you love died just before Christmas, or just after, or on the day itself, the calendar may feel now like an enemy. The lights may feel disrespectful. The music may sound like a lie. You might look at decorations and think, how dare the world celebrate when that was the week my whole universe ended? Your heart wanted one more day. You did not get it. That wound is real. It deserves time and care. One day, maybe not soon, you might be able to sit with that pain and also remember that the days you did have, even the hardest, were filled with something the calendar can't account for. The fierce, stubborn, unquantifiable presence of your love. You could not make time longer, but you filled the time you had with attention, with presence, with care, even when you were shaking inside. That counts. If you're in the middle of it now, if you are watching someone fade, if you are counting sleeps until a surgery, if you are lying awake begging whatever is out there, please just let them see one more Christmas. Know this. You are not pathetic for asking. You are not weak for bargaining. You are not foolish for hoping against statistics and logic. You are human, and being human means holding two impossible truths at once. I know this might end soon. I still want one more day. Tonight, if you find yourself whispering into the dark, please, just tomorrow, let them wake up tomorrow. Place your hand over your heart for a moment. Feel it beating. Remind yourself, I am here too. Because when the day does come, whether it's one more or 10 more or none, you will need that heart. You will need it to bear the goodbye. You will need it to carry their memory. You will need it to keep living in a world they are no longer in. Beg for one more day if you must. It's okay, but also, softly, somewhere underneath that prayer, add another. Give me too what I need for the days after. For the mornings, when I will miss them. For the nights, when I will reach for a hand that is not there. For the Christmases, when their absence will glow louder than any light. Because love is not only in the begging, it is also in the surviving. In the way you will one day tell someone younger about them. In the way you will continue some small ritual they loved. In the way you will look at a photo and feel both pain and gratitude that they existed at all. When you beg for one more day, you are really saying, I am not ready to stop loving you in this world. And even when that day doesn't come, or when it comes and passes too quickly, that love does not vanish. It shifts. It moves into memory, into story, into the shape of the person you become. Time will do what it does. Calendars will turn. Christmases will arrive and pass. But the fact that, in the face of all that, you still found the courage to whisper, please, one more day, says something profound about you, that even standing at the edge of loss, your heart refused to go numb. It chose instead to keep loving, even when it knew it could not win. There is nothing weak about that. That is the strongest thing a human being can do.